I've been sleeping pretty early because I got work in the morning. And I hate seeing that. It makes me feel old. It makes me feel like a corporate machine, even though I'm literally just a barista. Not just a barista, but you know what I mean. I myself have been pretty tired this past week because one of my coworkers, I don't have much coworkers. Like the cafe only has so many baristas, and one of them took a leave, and I just work part time. But last week I basically had to work full time to cover his shifts, and honestly, no problem. I'll get that bag. And I was like, cool, whatever. I'll take it. And so I did. I can never work full time. My body cannot handle it. I'm not doing anything physically strenuous, but for some reason, it's just so draining. Every morning I would wake up and my joints would be like cement. They would just be like cement. They would be like concrete. You know what I mean? Like, how does that even work? How does that even happen? How does that even work? But yeah, so I've been pretty tuckered out recently, and I mean, other people have it worse. I'm sure. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to discredit my own personal struggles. And you shouldn't do that either. Something that really stuck with me, that one of my old therapists told me during our intake session is, okay, I can't remember the exact words. I can never really quite remember the exact words of people, but he said something along the lines of, the number one rule when it comes to talking about mental health is to not compare yourself to others, ever. Because there's always going to be someone out there who's going through worse than you, always, and you'll always have reasons to say that. It doesn't make any sense for me to feel this way, or I don't deserve to complain about this. I don't deserve to feel bad about this, because objectively I have it better than others. But you shouldn't do that. It gets to a point, of course, because sometimes you see those rich people complaining about things like just rich people things, and you can't help but think, wow, they're so out of touch. That is so incredibly out of touch. Damn. Like me, when my parents buy me the wrong color Bugatti for my birthday, and it's like, but generally speaking, if you're just a common person, an average citizen, and you're going through something emotionally, mentally, physically, then you have all the right to feel bothered by it, to feel upset with it, When I was first getting into therapy, one of the things that I sort of shared to my therapist is that I never know when I can consider my past struggles to be trauma. I don't view them as actual trauma because I'm close to people who have experienced really bad childhood trauma, objectively just terrible childhood trauma. And I would think I didn't go through that kind of stuff, it wasn't that extreme. So how can this also be trauma? How can what I went through also be counted as abuse? And as expected, my psychologist, I forgot, they would say that, again, there are different kinds of trauma, there are different forms of abuse, and they all operate on some kind of spectrum in a way. Just because it wasn't as bad as someone else's doesn't mean it wasn't bad. It doesn't mean that what you went through was good. It doesn't mean that what happened to you was okay. You know what I mean? And even though those weren't exactly words of comfort or reassurance or anything, I did feel comforted by those words, and I don't know, maybe you needed to hear that. I don't know, like I'm no prophet. I'm no prophet, but I like to believe in faith, sort of sometimes when it's beneficial to me. So yeah, I guess this video is sort of gonna be like a comforting video. Do you say comforting or comforting? Comforting or comforting? I can kind of say it either way. It's like whatever feels right in the moment. You know what I mean? On the bright side, though, my girlfriend visited me at work yesterday, and it was quite the commute because I live like about an hour away from them. And they took the bus just to sit in the cafe while I was working. And I don't know, that was really sweet. I have a very sweet girlfriend. I have a very sweet and thoughtful girlfriend. I treated them to an iced matcha, which I made, of course, and a crinkle, a muscovado crinkle. Muscovado is just a kind of sugar, I believe. It's like brown sugar, but not as refined. I don't know anything about sugar. I don't know why I'm trying to educate you on sugar. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, man. It's gonna be okay, dude. Like, seriously. I know that sometimes it might not feel that way, and that's normal. That's normal. And I also hate how people would sometimes be like, oh, everyone goes through that. It's true, but at the same time, it's not, because no one is gonna feel what you're feeling exactly, or in the exact same way. Does that make sense? Whatever you're going through is like yours. It's your own special, personal struggle, because you feel it a different way, you receive it a different way, you cope with it a different way. Yeah, don't ever let anyone discredit what you're going through. Don't ever let anyone belittle your struggles, your challenges and whatnot, even if they're your own family. Even more so if they're your own family, honestly. Sorry, I didn't like that sound. It's wet. It's getting wet in here. I don't like that word all that much either. Water is so good. Oh my god, water is so good. You know what? I'm not all that good at comforting people. If I'm being honest. Like, it's kind of ironic because I love writing. But I'm not good with my words. My writing or my prose, like that's the exception. That's the only time I'm good at speaking, if I'm being honest. So I'm not entirely sure how I can offer you any semblance of comfort at this moment, in this particular place and time. But sometimes it helps to just sort of sit and listen and you can listen to me. You should listen to me because it's a lesbian visibility week, and I'm not gonna be visible for much longer. It's already Saturday today. Time's ticking. The clock is ticking. I'm sorry, that's a very overused joke, but it gets me every time. If you want to share tips that you use to sort of self-soothe, make yourself feel better, sort of cope with things in a healthy way, or like a semi-healthy way, I don't know, then feel free to share it in the comments because someone else might need to see that. You know, it could help someone else. Personally, music helps me. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it does. If I'm overwhelmed, I sort of like block out my internal voices by flooding my ears with loud music. And that sounds so like emo, angsty and stuff, but like it works. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that I cannot be the only person who does that, self-soothe or comfort myself. I'm sure other people do that too. They're just too ashamed to admit it. You know, if you want to be a happier person, if you want to lead like a happier life, feel more content with your life, you gotta stop feeling shame. You gotta stop feeling embarrassed. You gotta stop feeling those things because, one time I saw a post. It was a while back, a couple of years back, I believe, and it said something like, "Do you guys know that embarrassment is a choice? Like, feeling embarrassed is a choice." My apologies. And you know what? Yeah, it is a choice. It's a choice. Like, yes, we can automatically feel embarrassed during certain situations, but it's more of like we just subconsciously make that decision without thinking about it first. And you basically have the power to just choose not to feel embarrassed, which I know sounds like a reach. It sounds kind of crazy, but I tried it myself and it's pretty true. What the hell? I'm sorry if that just made you uncomfortable. I'm sorry if that made you uncomfortable. You let me know. I don't know what that was. Sometimes you just need to do things for shits and giggles, Sometimes not everything needs like this deep, profound reason. You can just do things as long as they're safe and like, I'm not encouraging you to partake in risk-taking activities, in dangerous activities. Let's not do that. Come on. It's red. Red is my favorite color. it's not. Black isn't even my favorite color. It's red. It's red because I think red is so cool. Red is so cool. So yeah. Oh, something that I want to say. When it comes to comforting yourself or finding comfort, I would highly recommend that you find comfort without having to depend on anything external. And by that I mean, I noticed that a lot of people can, in an attempt to soothe, in an attempt to cope, to comfort themselves, they would turn to things like substances. They would turn to things like self-destructive habits, behaviors, and I would know. I've been there. Trust me, I know. Or maybe even like quote unquote lighter things, like partying a lot, going to clubs and stuff. It's like honestly no shame, but it's different when you go there because you actually want to, and because you're just trying to distract yourself, or because you're trying to cope with things. And I'm not gonna judge anyone's coping mechanism. I'm not gonna judge anyone's coping mechanisms as long as they're like not hurting anyone. As long as they're not hurting anyone. But if you can, and if you want to, you don't have to, of course. I would suggest that you find comfort in like simpler things, like long walks. And I know that's like, like long walks. Like I get, I completely get that. But it helps. It would help me back in the day. When I was trying to sober up and stuff. And I would use long walks and music to sort of just space out for a couple of minutes and then walk back home. Nothing crazy. Or get a hobby, low-key. Like my girlfriend likes to crochet. They also like coloring. Like in a kid's coloring book, like just like the color because it's relaxing. It's relaxing. I personally like to journal, and it's nothing organized. It's nothing like super aesthetic or anything. I just write whatever I think of, and it helps me. I'm not saying it will help you, but it could help you. If you haven't tried it, then maybe you could. Because I tried that stuff. I tried the substance stuff. I tried the other kind of stuff, the bad stuff, and they just weren't exactly sustainable because they just affected me. They just affected me even more physically and financially. I had to cut that shit out. I had to cut that shit out. But ultimately, it's completely up to you. I also found comfort in ASMR. They helped me a lot when I couldn't sleep or when I needed to sort of recalibrate. One of my main searches is like ASMR for anxiety, ASMR for when you're overthinking, ASMR for when you're stressed, like that kind of stuff. I don't know why they help, but they do. I don't know why. They help me at least. I'm not saying that it's guaranteed to help you, but you could try it out, You can also find comfort in like making things. I don't know. Use your imagination. You could also go back to a hobby that you maybe sort of forgot about or abandoned for whatever reason. Go back to your roots. What used to make you happy as a kid? What used to make you happy when you were younger? What used to make me happy? Reading would make me happy when I was younger, and I am actually trying to get back into reading. If any of you are into reading and writing and stuff, then you let me know. Let me know what you've been reading. Let me know what you would recommend for me to read. I still remember when my channel was like relatively new. I got a comment that was recommending a book by Audre Lorde, I don't know if I said her name correctly. Audre Lorde. Audre Lorde. Audre Lorde. She was a black lesbian philosopher, I believe, from like the 1980s, 1990s, and I was recommended one of her books. It was actually a collection of like her essays and speeches. It's titled Sister Outsider, Sister Outsider, and I read it and I just loved it. I loved it so much. I loved it so much. So if the subscriber who recommended that to me is watching this right now, then thank you very much. I thoroughly enjoyed that book. I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed it very much, and I still think about a lot of the things that she said. I think about a lot of the points that she pointed out in her essays and works. So yeah, I think if you want to, then this could be a really cool space for us to share creative stuff, creative opportunities, recommendations, ideas, things of the sort. Because I really do love creative people, creativity, art in general, and I see that there aren't much spaces for for that kind of stuff. At least for me. Like online spaces. I mean, online spaces where you don't have to pay, where you don't have to have like some kind of membership or something. Just a free reign space where artists can share things. I don't know. I feel like we could all be a nice little support group for each other. That would be so cool. I already see it though. The way you guys interact with each other in the comments are very sweet. It's very sweet and very cute, and I love you all so much. But anyways, yeah, and that's all for me for tonight. Because I have work tomorrow, and I feel like I don't feel all that good because I'm gonna start my period soon. I think I might get my period tomorrow. So yeah, that's all from me for tonight. I hope I got to comfort you, kinda, somehow, maybe. I hope so. Excuse me. I apologize. But yeah. Also, thank you for 13k subscribers. Sorry, I do that every time. But yeah, it feels like just yesterday I hit 1k subscribers. That's a lie. That felt like ages ago. I meant to say it felt like just yesterday I hit 10k subscribers, and now I'm at 13k, almost 13.5k, I believe. Yeah, it's crazy. It still puzzles me every time. Every time someone subscribes to me, I'm like, oh, why? Like, I'm intrigued. Why? What made you subscribe to me? So yeah, that's all from me for tonight. Be a good person. Make good. Hello. Be a good person. Make good art. Eat good